Dee Wallace and Mr. Henry Thomas.
Yeah.
Hi, baby. Hi, babies.
Well, can we switch your names?
Oh, they didn't want me in the middle.
So I was just explaining the way that I get to do my job here for Sinister is Tim and I have a conversation like, what was the vibe of the weekend? Did anyone like give you a request? What do you guys, who do you guys want to see? And you know, E.T. stands alone as one of my personal favorites, as millions of people's personal favorite franchises. But Dee, you've always been on the list of actresses we wanted on this stage. But
Oh,
Henry,
thank
you, when Haunting a Hill House came out, man, I was like immediately to Tim, not even through the first season, I'm like, we need to get Henry Thomas. Because like all of those projects, and we'll talk about them, just like both of you having both the sensitive side roles, E.T., to the darker stuff, The Howling, Cujo, Haunting a Hill House, Haunting a Bly Manor. Your guys' testament to your work is really beautiful, and I'm just stoked that you're both here right now.
Oh, thank you.
E.T. over 4 decades ago it comes out, and it has just continuously withstood the test of time. Dee, you called it. I asked you if it was true, if you called it, and you said
Yeah.
absolutely. The Wizard of Oz for a generation.
Yeah, it's our new Wizard of Oz. It's going to go on forever, you know.
And the 40th re-release has a ton of special features on it, and they have, you know, all these behind-the-scenes interviews with you guys, and hearing you at different points of your career get asked about this movie. It's cool how your perspective has evolved. How would you say, you know, Henry, from going and playing Elliot at a young age to now, how has it evolved?
Well, I mean, the success of the film was a life-changing thing for me in a lot of ways. I think I didn't even think of success in terms of money or popularity or anything like that when I was a kid. So I was hit with the sensation of, wow, people really like this and people are really connected with this. And I don't think that that's changed at all over the years, because I think that the film speaks to the part of you that, you know, will take in a stray animal or help a bird with a broken wing, you know. So I think that's kind of a universal touchstone for a lot of people. And I think that, you know, just by association, E.T.'s become a part of people's lives because they remember it as a kid, and it takes on a new connotation when you look back and you say, oh, I saw this film with my grandmother or my grandfather, or this was the last film that we saw together, this was the first film that we saw together. The film takes on a whole new life. Because my experience was, you know, 10 weeks on a studio lot and on location and in a schoolroom, and that was it, right?
Yeah, you know, when you shoot a film, it's work. It's hard work. You know, you get there at 7 and you leave at 7 and you work hard. And the fun is when it comes out and the audience gets it and embraces it and makes it a hit, and it lasts forever and changes people's lives. And this film does change people's lives. It just reaches into your soul and reminds you what's important.
Absolutely. I think that the quality of just good values that are in E.T. that are showcased by Elliot are really just, rampant. Like, the kid, goes on this adventure, and it's just like every kid's adventure, but he, not only is that, he's like E.T.'s knight in shining armor. He's brave, he's willing to fight, he's not gonna give up. Halfway through the movie, he kind of says he wants E.T. to not go home and stay with him, but he is like, it's not even like adopting a pet as much as he's like adopting a family member. Like, he's ready to go to the end for E.T.
Yeah. Well, the idea was that Elliot didn't have a lot of friends, and he was kind of a weirdo and an outsider and the middle kid, and E.T. was kind of his best friend, and also suddenly he has E.T. and now he's the cool kid.
Yeah. And indeed, you have such like a reserve strength in the movie because you're a newly single mom who is being this mother figure to these 3 kids, and as going to film school, they teach us to watch the movies with such more depth and have such a greater appreciation. So yeah, you're the parental figure of the film, but rewatching it as an adult and seeing your performance alongside Elliot's adventure is really cool to watch because she's a layered character, and you would think that E.T. is this little boy's alien adventure, and I'm not surprised it's Steven Spielberg, but the fact that you also have your journey that kind of parallels the kids as you go through, and then you find out finally, oh man, he's not making it up. E.T. is an actual alien living in my house. It really is.
And I didn't even know it. No wonder everybody wanted me as their mother. I didn't have a clue about what was going on in my own house. And I have to say, people that would call me to talk to me and interview me go, but Dee, how did you play a mother? You didn't have any children at the time. I went, no, but I had a mom, and in retrospect, and honestly, I can tell you, I did not base this consciously on my mom. But in retrospect, my father was a severe alcoholic, so my mom pretty much raised us as a single mom. And she got up and she went to work at 7 a.m. every day, and she came home and cooked dinner, and somehow she raised us with high morals and consciousness. And so when I look back at Mary, I see my mom. But at the time, I wasn't aware that I was doing it.
Yeah, it's like when you are a parent, you do become parents in some aspects, right? And it's always shocking when you recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to say, sorry, here come the tears, which is why I'm an actress. I have to say, I could own every single solitary characteristic of my mom and be incredibly proud of who I am. Yeah.
The other side to that is we all know who plays your sister, of course, in E.T.
Oh.
But yours and Robert's and Drew's relationship, with the familiarity that you guys had on set, I imagine the 3 of you had to have a blast, working with E.T. so much, and just being together a lot of the time?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the high points for me as a kid on set, was that there were other kids on set. And that was exciting for me because I had done one film before E.T. and I had worked which was Raggedy Man, a film with Sissy Spacek that was released in 1981. I think we filmed it in 1980, 81. But I didn't have much experience on sets, and I had never talked to other actors that were close to my age. You know, and Robert McNaughton, Robert had done Shakespeare, and he was a serious actor at 15. And I really admired him, and I kind of, you know, looked to him for advice and everything. And we're still friends. But Drew was only 6, and she couldn't read at the time. So we would have to kind of talk the scenes through, and she would get her dialogue that way, because she couldn't study the lines.
And then she would direct.
Yeah. Drew was like,
Drew.
you know, 3 feet tall and, you know, with 18 feet of personality.
Oh my God. Drew came up to me the first day on the set, and I'm sitting in a high director's chair. And she came up and looked up at me and she went, "Hi Dee, I'm going to sit on your lap now." And I said, "Okay, Drew, come on up." And when we got to the scene where E.T. was dying, she was on the other soundstage. And so Stephen said, "Go get Drew." So I went to get Drew, and I said, "Okay, we're gonna go do the scene where E.T.'s dying, but you know he's just acting, Drew. He's just acting like the rest." "I know, Dee. Do you think I'm stupid?" So I pick her up, I walk her into the set, she takes one look at E.T. and goes, "He's dying!" And Stephen's going rolling.
Quick, get the tears, quick.
So that was the 2 dichotomies of Drew, you know.
You know, you mentioned how Drew would direct, but the actual director, like, people always have nowadays the Mount Rushmore conversation. Who's your Mount Rushmore of blank? Oh, Mount Rushmore of directors, you know, Stephen is definitely on mine. So what was that like each for you guys as a adult actress and then a child actor working with him?
Stephen was like a kid himself.
Yeah, well, when we did E.T., Stephen was 33, and he wasn't, I mean, it was a situation where, you know, he had had a few hits, but nobody really took him seriously as
Well, he wasn't Steven Spielberg.
Right.
You know.
No one took him seriously as a serious director. You know, he kind of made kind of popcorn movies. So it was exciting because he was famous, and I had seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I was a big Star Wars fan. I knew of his association with George Lucas and all of that. So as a 10-year-old boy, it was very exciting to be working with him. But on set, he was like a kid, you know, and if he had been able to do every job there, including mine, without involving anybody else, he would have done it all himself. You know, that was the kind of energy that he had. But
He just loves what he does,
Yeah.
guys.
he loves telling stories, and he loves the technical aspect of film as well. Like, you know, he would get excited about shots and get excited about
Yeah.
what we were using for the shot, and, you know,